Hello and welcome to another fun-filled knife adventure. Hooray! So today we're going to be taking at a long-awaited knife that I actually ordered over a year ago, and it just now showed up 2 days ago. Kind of late making this video, but it is what it is. I apologize. We will try to look at it in depth. But that is the Custom Knife Factory and Rotten Designs EVO 1.1. Comes in a nice pouch. In the pouch you get the knife and a cloth. You get its card. And you get an extra set of hardware, including bearings, pivot, screws, everything. I like when companies give you an extra set of hardware, complete hardware. As you can see on the card here, John Sorensen is the designer. M398. The one I have is titanium, and its number is 107. Birthday is 9/25, and there's more info. Back of the card is just CKF. There you go. Put that up. We got the knife and the cloth. Put the cloth up. And let's look at this puppy. All right. Well, first thoughts looking at it on the screen in the light is it's very shiny, but I do love that texture. There's just something about that texture. It's like a wood kind of feel to it. But it is DLC coated. I wouldn't say a wood feel to it, but a wood look to it. Sorry. They continue it. It's almost like a satin kind of wood combo. But you can see it's very shiny with that DLC. And the DLC on the blade looks excellent. Some marks on it. Pulling it out of the bag or whatever. But yeah, the blade looks great. I want to know, hopefully it'll hold up well. In the hand, this knife is one of the most comfortable knives I've ever felt. Something about the way my larger hand, and they made these three, they fit perfectly for just a regular grip. Very comfortable knife. Clip is very comfortable being wide like it is. Very, very comfortable. And then when you move up, it's same. Still just perfect. The spacing they've got on these are spaced really well for a large hand. I mean, this thing feels so good. I mean, I've got bigger hands, I can't lie, but I don't have like big meaty hands. I've just got long skinny fingers, but my hands fit perfectly on this thing. Wow. Check out the lockup. Only about 20% maybe. Let's check out the action. Oh yeah. Perfect drop shut from a blade that size. Oh wow. Super solid. Super solid. Those of you that want to drop it on your thumb, the corner of the blade is so big it barely catches your thumbnail. So be careful. Move your thumb down just a little, and then it'll hit in the middle. Don't move it all the way up to the top up there. But it just closes perfectly. Let's see. Front flipper. Not really a front flipper, is it? Nope. But you can use the thumb stud lock pins. Reverse flick is great. Let's get a few measurements on this thing. Starting with the weight. Got to Apologize for my scales being dirty. I need to wipe them off. Good thing about this DLC is you don't really worry about hurting it. 6.23 ounces. I'm working on my first ever handmade fixed blade on the channel. We're doing it every Thursday, and I'm trying to get it under. What am I doing here? Oh, I meant to wipe off the scales. Every Thursday we're working on it, trying to learn how to build a knife and make a knife, and I think I'm going to try to get it right below 6 ounces. It's a larger knife, but I think 6 ounces is a good good weight. All right. There we go. It'll look better for the next video. All right, back to this thing. This beast. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to try to get this down below 6 ounces. It's not quite as big though, but let's get some measurements on this thing and talk about how big it really is. It's nearly 8.5. It is right under 8.5. And then blade length up to the front of the scales, it's definitely over 3 3/4. They might have called it a 3 3/4 with the 3 and 3 oops, almost exactly a 3.5 inch cutting edge. So they could have called it either one, 4.75 or 3.75 or 3.5. Let's see. Let's get some caliper measurements here. See how thick this blade steel is. Well, it just wants to fall over. That's all right. All right. Let's see here. Up here at the top, what looks like the widest place is 0.2050. That's pretty thick. And then this slicey super hollow ground blade gets down to 0.016. Wow. 0.016. From that to that. Good grief. And then the scales, the width on the scales without the clip is 559, sorry. 0.559. And then with the clip, it is 0.727. 0.727. All right. Let's do a few size comparisons here, starting with the old standards. The Spyderco PM2, which I need to wipe off. I've got that little alcohol rag down here. I should use the rest of the alcohol to clean off these comparison knives. So there is the PM2, and here is somewhere. Aha. Here is the Para 3. Wipe it off. You can see it's bigger than both of those, but I believe very close to the same length as the PM2, actually. I thought it felt bigger than that, but huh. Well, that's interesting. I would have thought it was way bigger. It just feels big. Here's a Spyderco Shaman. So yeah, it's not a super huge knife. Looking at it next to the Shaman. Here is a Kaiser mini sheepdog. I just did that because it was laying here and because of the blade shape. Oh, here's a weird one that's laying here. This is a CJRB something or other. I can't remember what the name of this knife is. There's the model number if you want it. What is the name? It's not, I want to say it's not the Krag, but very similar in size to that knife. It's actually with the lanyard thing on the back here, might be longer. They're real close. All right, then I've actually got some other knives here that a person that might be buying this might have some of these. Let's start with another Chinese OEM knife, the Riot Tiger. Then we'll show the Vero Nova. So you can see it's a little bigger than the Nova. Tiger is about the same. Let's see what else we got here. The Berg Blades Tick. You might own that, and you might own a Griffin Scout 3.5. Very similar in size to it. And then, last but not least, I'm sure some of you have seen this thing. People talked about how it kind of looked like the EVO, and it was definitely inspired by the EVO. Seeing that side by side is pretty cool. And that is the Takom Unnamed. I didn't realize how similar the blades were in total shape. It's just the swedges on this one, wait, and the smaller hole make it look way different than that one. So it's something about this swedge that adds all the beauty to the front of this. Not all of it, but and they did put one in up there. It's just not as aggressive, and they even copied the swedge part. It's not as big. That front kind of swoops a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It's different. So that's cool to see those side by side. Let's see if this thing came sharp. Well, what did you think? Did you think it was gonna be dull when it comes from that thick down to that little 0.016? Yeah, it's nice. There's one little spot about halfway down that needs to be stropped. Right there. You can feel it catching. Yep, right there. But little stropping and it'll be a laser. All right, let's see here. I've got a wayward pocket around here somewhere. Oh my goodness, my pocket I've been sanding on that fixed blade. It's got G10 dust all over the place. All right, there's my back pocket. Just so you can see a thinner. This is not as thick as blue jeans for sure. But I've said this the last few videos I've done, unboxings, about how wider clips seem to spread out that pressure and go into pockets easier. And this one is no exception. It just goes right in. Super cool look. You can spot somebody with that clip and that top sticking out and know what kind of knife they got. Very distinct look. Let's see. The detent, it's not very hard to pull out. And being as heavy as it is, wish it had just a little more pressure, but of course you're pulling on a lot of mass with that knife too. But yeah, overall the clip's great. Let's check the detent on it. Very nice. Not going to slip out. Now we've gotten this far. Let's talk about the models. So this is the DLC, fully DLC polished one. And this right here is the blackwashed version. They have a plain Jane version and a super fancy version. And I don't know why I'm hearing a crazy sound. Huh. Did that just show up on screen? It did. Wow. Thought I had that turned off. I apologize. But thank you for subscribing. But yeah, here's two of the models. I actually bought a few of these a year ago. This one's for sale. If anybody's interested, hit me up afterwards. All I've done is take it out to shoot a short of, and what you see on this video. Yeah, that one drops even more of a guillotine. At least that one has a little bit of a controlled fall, which makes me think about hardware. Oh wow, we got a big pivot up there. Looks like about a T15. Let's actually check that out and see what size it actually is here. This is a T15 right here. It does fit. It feels like there's some shaking going on. Is it really a T20? Wow, yes, it is a T20. So T20 pivot. Then of course you got an 8 for the body screws and an 8 for the lock bar insert. Well, that's super cool to know. But yeah, these knives were pre-order only. Go look at the site where I got it from. So they were available on NC Blade, and like I said, they did release quite a few versions, 7 versions it looks like. So you got just the plain tumbled tie. You've got the polished DLC. You got the full dress Zerkatai one. You got the matte DLC. You got the Damasteel blade. I didn't even see that one. Then you got the blackwash one. Prices on them started, I think this was the cheapest version, $590. I believe the blackwash one was $610 plus waiting a year. It is, yeah, they're calling it 8.4, so I said right under 8.5, so that's good. 3.71. I said it was like 3 3/4. M398, handle length 4.69. So if you haven't heard of Custom Knife Factory or know about them, a lot of people use them, and as an OEM, we'll come up with a great design and send knives to them. But Kevin John used to work on clone knives, and they kind of moved over to be part of Custom Knife Factory. So a lot of that work, if you've ever seen the Venom series of knives, Kevin John knives, they will have the same feel and quality. So be alert of that. Let's see. Let's at least go look at the beautiful one here. Yeah, they got some. The pictures aren't the greatest. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's just getting kind of, but you can see it better. It's a pretty damaged deal. This one was $1,415. Wow. They were actually fulfilled though in exactly 1 year and 2 days for me. But if you don't know about NC Blade either, go check it out. They have a lot of exclusive drops and releases, and lots of just other knives that you'd like to buy. So go check them out and tell them Blade Alchemy sent you. Make sure to check my description. Also, I've got a bunch of codes. Save you some money. Here's another larger knife some of you guys might have that buys you one of those. By the way, this blackwash version, I believe, is number 50. Let me see. What did I do with the bag for it? How did that get misplaced that quick? Aha. You can look on the knife. It's written M398 and then 50. You can see the oil coming out of there. I haven't touched that, so that's why it's dropping like a guillotine. But they all came with their own little card and extra hardware kit. And since I bought a couple or a few, they sent me this for free, which is a CKF titanium bead, which is cool. I'm going to make a lanyard for mine, or get a lanyard made by a buddy, Ed. But you can see it's a big boy knife. And I guess it feels bigger than it actually is, because when seeing it next to those other knives, it made me realize it's got a way of feeling bigger. Man, it's so comfortable though. I can't express enough, if you've got larger hands, how comfortable these knives are. Both places, like this, it literally does just so, I don't know. They nailed this one. I'm a fan. I like it. What can I say? I mean, what's not to like? I mean, it's beautiful. And it should last for years and tens of years and 50s of years to come. So it should continue to be a great knife for my generation, at least. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you being here. If you like talking about knives and stuff like this, come join us every morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Get together every morning and talk knives for a couple of hours with a great group of guys. Very knowledgeable guys. If I don't know the answer, then we'll try to find it or ask one of them. And they usually, between them all, we've got quite a bit of knowledge. So come join us and ask your questions or teach us stuff. Show us what you got, whatever. Also got a Discord server you can join. The link is at the top of my YouTube page. It also should be in the description of this video here. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up for the algorithm, that'd be super cool. And I guess that's about it, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.